There's no other park like it.
When it's hot out, this is a great place to spend the day with your family.
There are lots of big things for little kids to do.
I love Action Park because it's so beautiful.
It's like coming to Broadway. It's wonderful.
Race like a pro. It's great. These are the most amazing rides in the world. I love it here.
There's nothing in the world like Action Park.
Some amusement parks are known for their seamless efficiency. Others might be hailed for their innovative rides. And still others are famed for their ability to entertain attendees of all ages. The story of amusement parks is one that has many dimensions and tells the story of many entertainments. And then there's the case of Action Park. During the time when it was open in northern New Jersey, Action Park was less famous than infamous. Known for an anarchic atmosphere and rides that defied logic, Action Park had many unique rides, such as an enclosed water slide with a complete loop where customers ended up with bloody noses, a wheeled ride with no brakes that shot down a concrete and fiberglass track, and a freshwater pool with giant waves that required lifeguards to rescue over 24 people a day. New Jersey's Action Park, which quickly became known as Accident Park, had it all. It was arguably America's most dangerous water park. Opened in Vernon, New Jersey in 1978, Action Park was one of the first modern water parks in the United States. Founder and CEO Gilles Mouvehill's philosophy was that amusement park visitors should be in control of their experience, envisioning a park where patrons managed the rides, including how fast and how high they went. And that's exactly what he did when he made Action Park. One extreme example of a dangerous attraction was the park's Alpine Slide, which has been described by an old Action Park regular as essentially a giant track to rip people's skin off that was disguised as a kid's ride. The slide featured a long cement and fiberglass-filled track that visitors rode down in a wheeled vehicle. But first, parkgoers would take a ski lift to the summit, where they were greeted by photographs of injured children accompanied by a warning for riders to keep their arms inside their device. In theory, each rider was in charge of their own speed, but the devices were almost always broken. Some had no brakes, which meant there was no slowing down as they would zoom down the concrete slide. Others had the brakes locked on, causing the rider to crawl down the slide, inevitably being hit in the back by another speedier rider. The park saw its first fatality on the Alpine Slide when a 19-year-old rode off the track and hit his head. On another occasion, some kid supposedly snuck into the park one night to ride the Alpine Slide in the dark. One kid headed down first and disappeared into the night. His friends could not find his twisted body in the dark until it was too late. According to New Jersey's records, there were at least 26 other injuries and 14 fractures attributed to the Alpine Slide. One of the park's most notable attractions was the Tidal wave pool, one of the first to open in the United States, which quickly became one of the most dangerous rides at the park. Nicknamed the Grave Pool, it was filled with fresh water, not seawater, which made patrons less buoyant and left strong swimmers and non-swimmers alike literally in over their heads, as waves could reach 40 inches at high blast. The 12 lifeguards on duty rescued on average 30 people a day on high-traffic weekends. Action Park's Waterworld was home to many non-slide rides like Roaring Rapids, involving several people riding a water raft, and the Tarzan Swing, which allowed you to swing over an icy cold body of water and throw yourself into it. Roaring Rapids, according to accident reports filed by Action Park in 1984, caused injuries such as fractured femurs, collarbones, and noses, and dislocated shoulders and knees. The Tarzan Swing was known for scraped toe knuckles, and also the shock that people would experience when their bodies were immersed in the icy cold water below. The water was so cold that people would forget how to swim once they hit it. A 1984 death at the park was unofficially attributed to the victim not being able to take the shock of the cold, resulting in a heart attack. But the most infamous of the rides at Action Park was the Cannonball Loop, an enclosed water slide with a complete vertical loop. According to one urban legend, when park owners sent a dummy doll on a test run of the ride, it came back with no head. Gene Mulvihill offered his employees $100 to test out new rides, including the Cannonball Loop. and despite employees winding up with bloody noses and bruises, he opened the ride. One person even remembers hearing a patron that got stuck at the top of the loop, causing the park to build a hatch to aid in future rescues. Just after a month it opened, and after countless injuries were reported, it was shut down by the Advisory Board on Carnival Amusement Ride Safety. Today, Mulvihill's son admits that they never quite perfected that one, but he remains proud of his father for taking a risk with the ride in the first place. My father, if he could find a guy with a crazy idea for a ride, he'd hire the guy, even if he never built it before. It wasn't just the thrill of the dangerous rides that kept kids coming back summer after summer. It was also the park's anything goes, choose your own adventure mentality. Then, underage visitors remember being able to drink beer freely and run through the park without a care, or much in the way of adult supervision. In fact, doctors who treated the many injuries incurred at the park noted most people were intoxicated, regardless of their age. The employees were often teenagers themselves, having a good time as patrons. Action Park was finally closed in 1996. By then, the park was responsible for 6 fatalities, including 3 drownings in the Tidal wave pool, and the death of a 27-year-old man who was electrocuted on the kayak experience when his boat tipped over and he came into contact with water that had a loose wire touching it. If anything, many who went to this attraction park said that Action Park was a true rite of passage for any New Jersey kid of their generation. But even though it may have been a fun ride for those who made it alive, there were a few who died, so it was for the best that some of the rides were closed. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, and thank you all for watching. Throughout history, there have been creepy cryptids, urban legends, and occurrences that have caused people to become frightened and scared. The world is a creepy and mysterious place, so stay safe, and I'll see you next time.